О, вже добрий вечір. Так, добре. Добрий вечір, good evening. Really? No. Hi, is it everything okay with voice? Now it's okay, good. So, I need to... good. So, it's perfect. It's excellent. I'm happy. How is my day? My day is fine. I was drinking mojito during the day, in the afternoon, so I'm in good mood, and I will explain what happened in round 12. And name of cafeteria, now it is Asian food in the center of Lviv, but before it was named Vapiano in honor of Fabiano Caruana. But now it's Asian food, so they propose tasty fresh juices, sushi, mojito, and other delicious things. Well, so because I visited Vapiano, we can start with game of Fabiano today. So he played against Richard Rapport. He was black. After two losses in a row, it's difficult, but okay, he is great fighter and he demonstrate decent level today. E4, E5. So it means that he wants to play as solid as possible. Rajabov was discussing of yours with him in chess.com commentary. Which game? Because I played many games against Rajabov, which concrete game was Rajabov discussing. Okay. Anyway, so knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, knight f6, very popular move. Now, not a6. d3 played Richard Rapport. Bishop c5, bishop takes c6. White has choice here. Many moves are possible. And many moves we have seen. The game in 2009 when I played against Boris Gelfand in Jarmuk, you mean? English opening? When I won c4, e5, something like this. You mean this game against Boris Gelfand or another game? Because I played so many games against Boris. So please specify which game you mean. Bishop c6 was played by Richard Rapport. D takes c6 and h3. Just prophylactic move. White has choice again. Many moves is possible. For example, queen e2 is possible. Knight bd2 is possible. Bishop g5 is possible, and many other moves. Is that everything okay with light? I need to add some light. I hope is it better now. Please confirm if you can see me. It's good. Okay. Knight f3, c5, d4 against Gelfand. Okay, I played many games many such games against Gelfand. Yes, in this move order we had discussion. So c4, c5, knight f3, knight c6, d4, c takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6, g3, queen b6. I had many games against Boris in this line with black. Usually he played knight c2, I played e6, bishop g2, d5, something like this. Okay, but this is totally different topic. So h3 played Richard, and Fabi played bishop e6. Black has a lot of choice. Many moves are possible in this position, of course, and many moves was played. Knight d7 is very popular move, for example. But okay, bishop e6 he played. White still cannot take on e5, of course, because queen d4 is coming. It's too simple for candidates tournament, of course, but okay. If there are some amateurs here, I won't explain this as well. So knight bd2, knight d7, knight b3, bishop b6, knight g5, bishop takes b3, a takes b3, f6. Quite a standard position. Black has no two bishops advantage. A really nice game. Okay. Yes, I think it's correct choice, and I'm sure you will not disappointed with style of Gelfand. Knight f3. Knight e6 is not possible because of the queen e7. White knight in big trouble. White has no resources to organize attack. It's a little bit same story. I want to remember another Spanish line, which d6, sorry, d6, c3, f5, castle. It's same story. White cannot play knight e6 because of the queen d7. Knight takes g7, king f7, white knight is trapped. So instead of active but bad move knight e6, white should play modest but strong move knight h2, knight h3. And black cannot take on f3 immediately because queen g6 is coming. So castle is correct. Knight d2, e takes f3, knight takes f3. And white has threat queen g6, but black can defend himself with precise move rook f7. Idea that black is defended against bishop h6 and queen g6 now, and if queen g6 immediately, black has bishop d6. If bishop takes h6, knight e7, queen g5, knight h7, queen g4, knight f6, and you understand zero where? In this line, you understand zero. Okay. Zero is something, so it's always good to start zero. What I am, from which moment? From the start of stream, or from d6 move, or from what? I can try to help you, but I don't know what exactly you don't understand. Okay, for example, I can explain that here castle is not only move for white. So d4 is possible, for example. This is theory. If e4 played Rashid Nijmedinov and Paul Keres, for example, knight g5, d5, f3, h6, f takes, h takes g5, and bishop this. This is one of theoretical lines. White has pawn up, but black has compensation. It was one of favorite line for Rashid Nijmedinov with black. And okay, looks dubious. Okay, for black or for white. Nijmedinov had quite good results. I remember something like this. So this king f8, and black has good compensation. But according to modern theory, queen f3, it's better, and white has. Yes, maybe it's dubious for black, maybe. Okay, of course, the most solid line according to theory is g6, and if d4, bishop d7, or immediately bishop d7. This is much more solid than f5. f5, it's quite tricky line, but also there is very tricky line which Yan Demirov from Tatarstan likes. h3, h5. Very, very tricky line. For example, d4, b5, bishop b3, knight takes d4, takes, knight g5, knight h6, something like this. Siri, king f8 in this position, king f8. Siri, who is Giri, maybe? I don't know who is Siri. Yes, you can share. Rajabov game in PGN. Knight g5 to stop queen h4. Yes. Yes, knight g5 to stop Kosovo. You start to understand something. If knight takes d4, queen h4, white is losing. That's true. How long I am playing chess? Well, instead of h3, in which moment h3? Okay, how long I'm playing chess? I started, I met chess first time when I was 6 years old. So I spent already some time with chess by reading book, by solving combination in newspapers and magazines, not chess magazines, normal magazines, but with chess part in last page or one of the last page. But I started to play in tournament when I was 10. Before I played only with neighbors, with my friends. But from h10 I played, so now I'm 53, okay. So it means that I am quite experienced player. Not so bad. And the most important that I want to continue to play. It's chess still is very interesting for me. For example, now I am thinking, why not take here? After takes to play knight g5 check. This idea just appear now to my head. I'm trying to understand. Well, maybe this is bad idea, but so king needs to go somewhere. King e8 the most natural, but c3 is my idea. And if knight goes somewhere, I will take on g4. So I don't know what is theory here at all. I'm thinking. You know, I'm very curious guy. Okay, so I have encyclopedia, maybe encyclopedia will explain me something about this position. This is. I will open this magic book and I want to see if they consider bishop takes f7. Just a moment, please. Bishop b5, a6, a6, bishop a4, d6. No, bishop a6, bishop a4. Bishop a4, d6, castle, 493. Yes. Knight g5. Yes, they're considering. Yeah, there is game. After c3, they propose bishop e7. C takes d4, bishop takes g5. Queen takes g4, bishop takes c1. And according to encyclopedia, position is unclear. Okay, it's very easy to evaluate position like unclear. If somebody wants to understand, please analyze. If doesn't want, okay, everybody his choice. So, rook takes c1 probably is the best. And what black should do here? E takes d4 maybe. Maybe queen f, no, queen f6, rook takes c7 is possible. And black cannot start attack, it's easy. Because mate. It's very easy. So e takes d4. Now take on g7, queen h4 is unpleasant. So white should play something like knight d2 probably. What is this? Maybe also a4 can be considered. Fresh and interesting position. Okay, I totally agree that this is unclear, but if you are still teenager, don't know what to say. You need to understand if you are a teenager, what you want to reach in chess. So why you are playing chess, why, what you want, what you dream about, and many other things. So bishop takes f7, it's interesting line, at least. So it's not a stupid choice. Alireza moved 20 h3 in which position? I don't see position. Okay, let's come back to our heroes or our gladiators. Najdorf. Okay, thanks for Najdorf. But okay, I have no this game here, so I need to see position. I remember knight takes f6, g takes f6, something like this. But by the way, thanks for subscription. If there are any question about Alireza Kabura, we can try put from the start. But my proposition for now is just follow Rapport Caruana. So I explained that knight e6 is bad because queen e7 and white knight in big trouble if queen g4. Okay, maybe white is not losing, but certainly it's not good. For example, g6 is possible. Black is preparing king f7. So f4 is forced, it looks like. Now white wants to play f5, so black can take. And nothing good for white, because if knight takes f5 is coming, and only black can be better. If bishop takes king f7 and white losing material. Knight takes c7 doesn't help because rook c8 and knight is trapped. If queen g3, even g5 is possible. Okay, so it's knight e6, strong player will not play. So knight f3, knight c5, standard maneuver. Knight f8 also was possible with same idea. Okay, so I don't need encyclopedia anymore. I can put my hands just into the table. It's possible to put my hands into encyclopedia in this fiesta variation called bishop g4, h3, h5 variation called like fiesta variation. I don't know why, but well. So my hands are free now. And okay, it's probably not necessary for black to play knight c5 or knight f8 immediately. Totally possible to play queen e8 and then decide what to do with king or with knight. So it's totally possible move. But okay, so knight c5, knight d2, knight e6, knight c4, quite standard idea in many openings. So it's sent for subscription, and first of all I want to explain that this maneuver was named like Pirouette of Nimzovich after his famous game against Frank Marshall. I'm not sure if somebody remember. Why not before, after knight c5? Okay, b4 is possible, but black anyway wants to play knight e6, so probably there is no big reason to it's my English to compel black play knight e6. So because against almost any moves, black will play knight e6. And about Nimzovich, I don't know if somebody of my spectators remember game Nimzovich-Marshall, but okay, I will refresh. So it was this opening, knight f3, c5, d5, this, d6, knight c3, g6, knight d2. It was Aron Nimzovich was first who played this move in this position and won brilliant game. So, okay, I'm not sure how to correct spend, maybe this. Maybe this. And this idea was named like pirouette of Nimzovich. Bishop this. Rossolimo, yes. About this pawn structure. It's very flexible pawn structure, and great expert in this pawn structure after bishop c6, d takes c6 is Magnus Carlsen. If you asking about bishop takes c6, b takes c6, I like how Serbian Grandmaster Velimir Ivic is playing with black, Rossolimo. He likes to play bishop b5, g6, and after bishop takes c6, b takes c6. Pirouette, it's something like dancing. Something like movement of dancing, it's pirouette. Firouzja. Okay, there is question about Firouzja, but there is another question. It's my question about time control in this tournament. So, it's easy to understand that time control in this tournament is as long as possible. So it's not possible to make longer time control. I mean, in modern chess, theoretically possible. For example, give 5 hours for 40 moves, something like this. But okay, if connect this tournament more or less with modern chess, so this is the longest time control as possible. And it's interesting why. For example, why not organize candidate tournaments with format, I mean, with time control? Same format, 8 players, blah, blah, blah. But time control could be 1.5 hours per game and 30 seconds like increment from the move 1. That's all. Why not? And of course, games would be much more shorter. And if ask Firouzja, who likes to play bullet, hard to believe that if propose him choice to play this time control what they are playing in candidates tournament or 1.5 per game, hard to believe that Firouzja will choose control with 2 hours for 40 moves and 1 hour per 20 moves, only then increments. It's hard to believe. I don't know who from participants would choose this time control. So it's a big question for me. And also a question for me if organizers asked participants about their opinion about time control. So there are many questions. Firuza always loses in time pressure. Okay, but it not means that he likes to play such a long time control. Firoja is talented. That's true, but probably he considered too seriously this tournament. Maybe he expected too much from this. I don't know. I'm not his friend. Okay, I'm not spent time with him, so it's better to ask Cheparinov, his second. Of course, if he is able to spread such an information. Got inside his own head. Okay, it's I don't I cannot tell that I know him personally. Okay, I played for same team once in Turkish Liga, but during last time I had no any contact. Okay, I played match against him, Blitz and Rapid, but I don't know his inner world, and I don't know what was his expectation about this tournament. He didn't ask me any suggestion. Okay, it's not hint that he should do it. Of course, he has his team, and surely he made some preparation, but maybe was important for him to consider this tournament a little bit more easy than he took. Second to Topalov. Yes. And husband of Stefanova as well. He has much time. He has, of course. And now what I can wish him just to okay, he need to finish this tournament, just play normally last two games, and then Gashimov, excellent player. I respect him very much. That's true. Very creative player, and he had very special vision of life. Yes. 9 years old, this is totally normal, especially for extremely talented player. Yes. But sometimes maybe it's better to do something which is not, yes, about Benoni. That's true. Gashimov played Benoni very successfully, and he understands this type of position. Knockout, also possible. Or time control can be changed. Place can be changed. Okay, Spain and Madrid is excellent, but I can only suppose how hot now in Madrid. So it's about 40. If in Lviv about 32, so in Madrid about 40. So is it good for intensive work of brains? Big question. Well, So it was something lyric. So what they are doing? Come to Spain with big pleasure. Muchas gracias. Invítame, por favor. Estoy listo para ir a España. Dama de 7. Jugó Fabiano. Quite a standard position. So, from the start, black had 2 bishops advantage. I mean, after bishop takes c6, d takes c6. But now white can take on b6 and black will have no bishops anymore. But in any moment white can take, so no reason to hurry. White has choice. Many moves are possible. h4 played Richard. Original move, so it's not obvious. Of course, bishop e3 can be considered, knight takes b6 can be considered, but okay, h4 looks like he is fighting for space in king's flank. He wants to play h5 and probably then he will try to exchange queens, something like this. Immediately black cannot play long castle, of course, because after knight takes b6 not possible to take with a pawn because of mate. After c takes b6, rook takes a7, white won the pawn. So immediately this is obvious mistake. So a6, my explanation that Fabi is preparing for long castle. Logical decision. h5, castle. Knight takes b6. Why to take knight takes b6? I don't know. Okay, it's playable move, but in my opinion, according to my feeling of chess, more natural looks like queen g4. And white has a little bit better pawn structure. If, for example, knight d4, just to take, if rook takes d7, king d1, and play this kind of endgame. Of course, knight d4 is not necessary. Black can play something else, like king b8, for example. White has no special threats, but anyway, queen on g4 looks like correct place for queen. So I personally would play queen g4 in this position, but okay, I have no doubt that Richard have considered this move as well, but he decided to take firstly on b6. This composition if you can write in normal notation, I can tell you my opinion, but you wrote in difficult. I am not technically very prepared. So if you want my opinion about this composition, please write. So king, queen, pawn, rook, and white wins on draw, or mate in 2, mate in 3, or something like this. Studios in composition. It's totally possible. C takes b6, bishop e3, c5, and only now queen g4. Also totally playable. King b8. Understandable. g3. Richard is preparing f4. g6 suddenly. Tactically it works because white cannot take pawn because of a very simple reason. Rook is hanging on a1. So black is prepared for counter-attack. Maybe because of this, long castle was more precise. Now g6 is not possible, and in next moves, white can prepare g3 and f4. I don't see any special problem. Okay, probably queen f7 is possible. Again, with idea g6 and f5. So g3, g6, castle, queen f7. Now, black is prepared for f5. I'm not sure how strong f5, but at least why not taken one castle? Okay, I think it's the same. Queen f7, so white can take also here if they want. But Richard played f4. Bishop takes f4. If g takes f4, f5 is prepared, and white bishop is not so active. No. So black has no special problem with equality. b4 after queen f7. b4 is possible, but it is double-edged move. It's from the king. For example, rook g8 is possible. Is this somewhere knight d4 and queen e2 idea is possible. Okay, it's not bad for white at all. For example, it's possible just take and play rook h6. With idea if f5, just take and queen c2. Okay, so it's totally possible, but this line is not forcing. After rook h6, knight d4 is possible. For example, with idea queen a2, white can play king b1. Now black can consider c4 even. So was possible, but f4 solid. Bishop takes. G takes f4, f5. It's another type of position, totally playable for both. Maybe even white is slightly better here, because pawn g6 is a little bit weak, so white can consider queen f3 or queen g3, this idea take and rook g1, but it's question how much. So he took on f4, king a7, rook f1, f5, queen h3, queen f6, king b1, rook f8. Black consolidated pieces, rook f6, queen h4. Rook g8. Now black wants to play g5. It's obvious. Queen d6. It's important to avoid rook e2, because if rook takes h6, white will not take immediately knight. If take rook h6, everything is fine. But now rook e2 is pretty unpleasant. And white will take pawn on a6. Bad news for black. So queen d6 is much more precise. And now bishop is hanging. Black wants just to play some move with knight, like knight d8 even. So white need to do something concrete. Bishop g5. Rook takes g5 is forced, because white is prepared for bishop f4. Queen takes g3, it's bad, because bishop h4 is possible. So rook takes g5 is correct choice. e7, rook e5. Now it's obvious that white lost all of his initiative, and only black can pretend for something, because black pieces are more active and black king is more safe. So why it happened, I don't know. Probably g takes f4 was better than bishop takes f4 here. Maybe this was better, but it's very far from obvious. Or for example here many moves wasn't forced. For example, instead of rook df1, totally possible was to play bishop e3, if f5, queen f3. So white has quite comfortable position, but probably in this moment Rapport started to play in too much concrete style, and probably he missed something like queen d6. Probably he could miss in his calculation, and he lost. I mean, he lost initiative, and now he is fighting only for draw. But he might draw. Queen g6, queen e3, queen g1. He's suffering, but he might draw. He lost the pawn. Okay, rook takes h5 was possible. d5 is not winning because of the d6, rook e8, but of course black hardly can win in this position. All pawns in same flank, so this is drawish. Black cannot realize this pawn. In bullet it's possible to win this position, but in classical time control not. So c takes d4, rook h5, but now it's drawish as well. Theoretical draw. Okay, so first game for today was Rapport Caruana. I will continue my report. So what else? Ding lost today. I will consider what happened with Ding. Bishop d3, d5, cd, ed, h3. It's very modern line because much more classical line here is knight g2 and then castle. But during last time, h3 became incredibly popular. I don't know why. So I always played knight g2 with white. But okay, of course, a3 wasn't reason to lose the game. Bishop d6, queen c2, and knight a6 played Timur. I don't know if this move was played before. For me, it was novelty. So when I was drinking mojito today, I have seen knight a6, and for me it was novelty. And I tried to understand what I would play with white. So I understand that black has idea to play c5. Before is hardly good here, because after c6, black is ready for knight c7 and then a5. So after some portion of mojito, I understood that before it's something wrong. But surely, what can I say, that I would never consider possibility to take bishop takes a6 in nearest moves. So it's I feel that something wrong, and also because I respect David Markelovich Yanovsky. So Yanovsky here will not play bishop takes a6 for sure. Because he felt very well strange of bishops, and he respected his bishops, and also he respected temps. So okay, if you have bishop on f1, you can consider bishop f1 takes a6, but if you play bishop d3, please finish development of your pieces and then to think. So bishop d3 and bishop takes a6, it's ugly. Okay, I don't want to blame Ding, but I try to understand. Okay, I don't know if it's allowed during the game to drink mojito. Probably in this position, best choice for Dink was ask waiter if there is such option and ask some portion of mojito. Sin alcohol, por supuesto. I didn't choose today alcohol version of mojito, just normal mojito with lime, with mint, and uh, and I have understood that if play castle, this is problem for white because, for example, this rook e8, f3, or queen c8. It's very difficult to play e4, for example, this, and black is ready for contraplay queen's flank, knight c7, b5. But in my opinion, my modest opinion, white should play b3, of course, here to stop c4 and to have solid position. So next move, h3, castle, play normal chess with defended pieces, with normal development. After c takes d4, of course, e takes d4, not allow knight d4, knight c5, but e takes d4. And somewhere bishop g5, somewhere bishop f4 is possible. So this is normal position. Maybe white is not pretending for big advantage, but this is normal chess. Dink starts to play something very strange for me. So bishop takes a6. I was a little bit shocked. And b4, bishop d6, bishop b2. Okay, white has good structure, but there is problem with development because castle somewhere bishop takes h2 is possible. So if in nearest move white is planning to play castle, so always bishop takes h2 necessary to consider. And now, okay, bishop e6 looks like a good idea to prepare rook c8. Somewhere c4 square can be weak. For example, black has idea knight g4, knight e5, knight c4 somewhere. So I don't think that a structure, pawn structure, is a more important factor than dynamic resources in this position. But okay, Timur played a5, and now, in my opinion, white should play knight b5. This is move according to my chess understanding. And after a takes b4, okay, white can just take and even play castle. At the moment, white is pawn down, but opposite color bishop, knight g4, knight g3. It's not dangerous for white, so okay, or always possible just take and play, for example, bishop c3. White has no special risk here. It's totally enough compensation for the pawn, or even just play castle. I hope bishop takes h2 here doesn't work. It doesn't work, at least because white has king g1, if queen h4, queen c7. And this is stop of attack. So castle, okay, b takes a3, it's possible, bishop takes a3, this, okay, so it's drawish somehow. But okay, so probably Dink is ambitious player. He wants to play against Carlsen, and he decided to play b5. And again, black can play bishop e6, rook c8 plan, but Timur played a6. It's another logical move, so he wants to provoke. So why c3 and not a3 after queen takes pawn on b4? You mean this? Bishop c3. Okay, queen c3 you want. Okay, queen c3, it's possible as well. It's enough for equality. I don't think that black has real chances to win in this position. because white has totally enough compensation for the pawn. But okay, he played b5, a6, probably he wants to provoke a4 and to play bishop b4, so he played h3. Okay, maybe... So in this position, when I have seen this position, only rook d1, it's move which is worthy to consider, in my opinion. So if queen c7, okay, knight takes d5, maybe not threat, because knight takes d5 and bishop b4, but who knows. But at least rook on d1 in good position, and after queen c7, I can consider this idea, for example. I don't know, is it good or bad? Maybe black has excellent position here as well, but it's not so obvious. Bishop d4, for example, queen b8, rook g5, f6. After bishop d4, after bishop d4, if queen b8, I can take on a5 probably, if I will not lose immediately after rook c8. So it can be dangerous somehow, I don't know. But anyway, rook d1 looks like very logical. Why not castle? It's good question, but castle queen c7, it's a little bit unpleasant. And now black has two threats. H2 is hanging, and a takes b5. It's unpleasant threat as well. So this also, of course, after castle, white need to consider bishop takes h2. But in this position, no. In this position, I don't think it works, because king g3 is coming, and I don't think that black has enough attack in this position. With queen g5, f4 is coming. So if queen d6, knight f4, so bishop takes h2 is dubious, in my opinion. But queen c7 looks very logical, and now it's double threat, unpleasant for white. So h3 is logical, bishop d7, and now maybe a4 was correct in this position. Okay, hard to believe that white is fighting for advantage, but at least they are fighting for b5 square. So if you have knight against bishop, knights against bishops, you need to fight for 4 posts. So b5, it's possible 4 post here. And somewhere, for example, black... something like this. Somewhere white can even give this pawn, but with idea to take on f6 and have contraplay. So a4 was quite principal choice in my opinion. Of course, black has queen c7, queen c7, queen b3 probably. So it's complicated position. But Dink took on a6. He is not fighting for b5 square, and he activated black rook. Now he played rook d1, rook b6. So, and he played rook d2. Knight takes d5, probably risky somehow, because white has problem with development, and black can consider queen a8, probably bishop e6 is possible as well. So it's a little bit shaky position for white. So, okay, maybe castle is normal move, but after castle, for example, queen c8 is possible. White has some problems. Bishop takes h3 is hanging, and bishop on b2 uncomfortable. If bishop goes to a1, pawn a3 is hanging. So rook d2, queen c8 again. So this is not so pleasant already for white. f3. So I don't know. Maybe it's not so bad for white, but he lost very quickly. And now he played queen c1 and allowed rook takes a3. I don't know if there is better choice. Okay, for example, rook takes e3, more or less threat, so knight d1 probably was correct idea to defend. Knight h5, probably he afraid with idea bishop g3, but okay, after knight h5, even f4 maybe is possible if I'm lazy to calculate rook takes d5, bishop g3 check. Black win by force after knight d1? No, I don't think so, that black can win by force. Black has some initiative. Okay, knight h5 is possible, looks like the most aggressive, but also question if rook takes d5 is so bad. But okay, bishop g3, at least dangerous for white. Ah, rook c8. Ah, rook c8 is proposition. Okay. Ah. No, but okay, white. Aha, okay, queen d3. Yes, maybe you are right, because rook b3 I miss it. So I have seen only bishop b5 and queen f5, but rook b3, so probably you are right. But okay, it's still question if black is winning. Aha, queen d4, rook c4, and my queen is trapped. Oi, 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 oi. So what rubbish I recommend? Sorry. Sorry, you are totally right. So knight d1 is bad move because rook c8. So it means that already rook a6. Yeah, queen a6. Okay. Okay, maybe white is not losing, but after rook b6, if this rook c5, but after rook b6, queen d3 is only move and try to escape somehow. Okay, but this is really, so probably it's already bad position. It's because white has too many weaknesses. So a3 is weak, e3 is weak, bishop b2 is weak. So and weak play at all from Dean Clearance. So he played excellent tournament, but 2 games he played very weak. First round against Nepomniachtchi and this round knight d4 bishop g3 against and because of this he's not fighting for first place anymore. Although in general he demonstrated a very good level, but now he played queen c1, rook takes a3, and total collapse, because if take rook, bishop c5 is coming and queen e5, so it's... I don't know if he missed rook takes e3, but probably he didn't see already resolvable alternative. Okay, maybe queen d3 not possible, bishop is hanging, sorry. Yes, if knight d1 it looks logical, but after rook c8 it's very unpleasant, so already very hard choice. Okay, maybe just rook h d1 was better. Knight d4 not, because bishop g3. Maybe just rook h d1 to try to consolidate somehow position. At least finish development. White played so generously with Tempest. But okay, so here... I defended because if bishop c5, knight d4, now rook takes e3 doesn't work. I can take. Okay, probably queen g3 is possible, but with idea rook e6, but it's not so obvious for me. For example, this if rook e6, king d3. Is it, but bishop b5 check. If knight takes b5, rook e3 mate. But after bishop b5, king c3. What is this? Okay, it's influence of mojito. Sorry, but maybe it's not mate. Knight e4. Yes. King. Stop. Okay, I can play queen takes e4 and then knight takes b5. I have many pieces, but okay, I will play in mojito style. Bishop c4 check, king a4. Okay, it must be losing somehow. Queen b8, something like this. Okay, so mojito style doesn't work, so I will be checkmated soon. Okay, so this doesn't work. Okay, so probably I will try to do something best. After rook takes e2, okay, I will play, instead of mojito style, I will play in Karpov style. I will play knight e2, and at least I am not losing immediately. Maybe even I have compensation for the pawn. So nobody yet to compare Karpov style with mojito style. But in this moment, Karpov style is better, in my opinion. I played knight e2 and I'm not losing immediately. But maybe black can start with rook takes e3. That can be problem. If king e3, bishop c5 is same idea. So let's check. So knight d4 is forced because king d3 not possible, bishop f5. Okay, forget about computer, it's rubbish. So knight d4, queen g3. So please think with your head and please see position with your eyes. So queen g3. Okay, so black is rook down, and there is rook d3, rook e6, and after king d2, queen f4 mate. So rook d3 is not good. So mojito style. So knight c e2 I was considered, but maybe there is something better. I don't know. Maybe this is just bad for white. I don't know. Maybe rook e2 is not losing immediately. Now at least I have d2 square for my king. If rook e6, my idea was to play king d3. If queen g6 check, king d2. So I'm not losing immediately. I'm still fighting. Of course, in big danger. So rook takes rook hd1 was the best practical chance, in my opinion at least. Oh, black has good position, many moves. Even rook c8 is possible to consider, but white is fighting. And important that after bishop c5, knight d4, so knight e2 is possible, and now probably black already in trouble because maybe not. Bishop takes a3 is possible. So Karpov style doesn't work as well in this position. Okay, white has anyway. White has some compensation. Queen c5, 2 pawns down, but maybe not so easy. If rook b4, knight c2 is possible. So still some chances to survive. Or take here, black will take on b2 with bishop or with rook. Black is better objectively, but white still fighting. But okay, so queen c1 played Dink. After rook takes a3, he was unhappy. So knight d1, rook e8. Okay, so knight e3. Okay, everything is bad. Okay, probably he could take on f6, take on d5, but somewhere rook takes a2 or bishop b5 must be very bad for white. So knight e3 he played, knight g4, this rook c8. So black has pawn up and winning position. Bishop f4, Dink resigned. And I will not annotate game between Nepomniachtchi and Nakamura. Everybody, I hope, will understand what is the reason. So the last game for today will be Duda against Firouzja. Two young and two talented players. Bishop e2, discuss. b5. a6 is another line with idea if rook d1 to play b5. And if bishop f1, c5 is possible. This is game Aronian-Gelfand. Queen d3. I'm fine, thank you. So, and the choice of Petr Leko in this position, queen c7. Hello. Idea if e4 to have e5. Aronian won against Gelfand after queen d3. So queen d3 strong move, idea to prevent bishop b7, because now if bishop b7 d takes c5 is possible. If I am right, of course, I'm not sure. Maybe if bishop b7, e4. Thanks for subscription, because if d takes c5, black can take. And after g takes, queen g5 is coming. If queen takes d6, rook d8. If it works, of course. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work, however. So queen takes d6, if rook d8, white has e4. But queen f6. So it works. But after bishop b7, e4 simply possible. And now f4 in which moment f4? In which moment f4? Sorry. Where you want to play f4? Maybe bishop g2 also possible. But it's... If knight takes c5, maybe now f4. Yes, but this is far from clear because queen f6 simply. White cannot take on d6. But okay, e4 is strong enough in my opinion. Probably Aronian played this. But okay, c4, it's not so clear. So, okay, d takes c5. Let's check again carefully. This, and check. Important. Important check immediately, because if knight takes c5, queen d6, queen g5, queen g3, and white wins. So, queen g5 is important, and white should play something. But what? Maybe... No. If bishop g2, knight c5. If queen d6, rook d8. If e4, queen f6. Simply, and white is losing some material. Bishop f4 is possible, rook takes d6, bishop takes d6, but knight b3 is coming, and it looks fine for black. So what was idea after bishop b7? Okay, maybe Gelfand played this, I just don't remember how to continue, but I had illusions that for some reason... Okay, maybe not tactically, maybe positionally, white can do something strong. For example, bishop g2, knight takes c5, queen c4. But okay, it's far from clear. Bishop is hanging now. So rook d8. If bishop d6. I remember it was bad for some reason, but at the moment I cannot understand why it is bad. So it happens. There is concrete proposition, I will check. So king h1, queen takes d6, rook b d8, e4, queen f6, bishop g5. This is your proposition. Okay, but that's true that white is not losing here, but after just take, hard to believe that white can fight for advantage also. Queen b6 or what? So white has weak king. I don't think that even queen... no, queen f4 not possible because rook takes d8, but okay, it's possible. And knight takes e4 doesn't work because queen d4. Okay, so maybe white is not so bad here after queen b6. But very difficult. Who knows? Okay, for example, this is possible. If queen a5, queen e7. Yes, it's not losing, but okay. Also, rook c1 is possible. If but knight b3. If queen c7, queen f6, unpleasant. Yeah. So bishop b7 line. Okay, but play, b5 played. This is theory, and same idea played Veselin Topalov against me. So white plan is simple: to play bishop e3, not allow c5, and somewhere to play b4 to fix. For example, it's not necessary in this. I mean, I want to show like idea. So I give a pawn in such a way, and two bishops advantage. After bishop g5, queen takes f3. In previous variation. No, queen takes f3, bishop g2. If rook takes d1, not possible here, according to rules. It would be nice for black, but not forbidden, but not possible. Queen g5, queen b6, unclear position, so it's necessary to analyze this position more deeply. Okay, maybe white is not worse, but it's a big question if white can be better, but who knows. It's complicated position. Both has trumps in this position. Well, so after h3, bishop a6 played. Alireza is white, or Alireza is black. Alireza is black, so he played bishop a6. Tactical idea, not standard move. Bishop e3 played Jan Krzysztof. Very natural looks rook d1. I don't know why not play rook d1 to stop b4 and to prepare consolidation of pieces. So rook d1 looks like a very natural move. I'm trying to understand what was idea of Firouzja. Maybe queen c7. With same idea, if bishop e3 to play b4. And now if a takes b4, bishop takes d3. And if bishop takes a6, b takes c3, and c takes b2. If knight a4, take on d3, and probably take on a4. It's not so clear, however, because white can take maybe even with rook. Because if knight takes e4, knight b6 is coming, and rook is hanging, and rook d7, and it's unpleasant threat. Queen c7 b4 here. Yes, c5, c5. C5 looks like unpleasant for white somehow. Yes, white has some tactical problems with diagonal. With Bolshak. In drafts, this diagonal calls Bolshak, a1, h8. Even 100 drafts, international drafts, it's Bolshak. Well, so bishop e3 he played immediately, b4, bishop a6, this is forced, bishop c4, rook d1, so black has b2 pawn, but white has idea to play f4 at some moment. So if queen c7, f4 is unpleasant. So probably this was idea of Jan Krzysztof to leave rook on f1 and to have f4 possibility. So now if queen c7, it's f4 is very strong and black is losing material. If bishop d6, e5. But queen e7 played Alireza. Now f4 is also possible, but if f4 now, queen takes a3 necessary to consider. What is this? I don't know. But black has already several pawns more. If rook f3, even queen c3 is possible. It's still unclear, but okay. It's understandable that young Krzysztof was looking for something more clear. So queen e7. So he played bishop c5, very logical choice. Black cannot take the bishop because of the obvious reason. So queen c7. And he took on f8. It's not a beautiful move. So beautiful move. I don't know what is the correct move in this position, but beautiful move is g3 immediately to keep bishop on c5 and prepare f4. This is beautiful move. Bishop takes f8 is brutal move. But okay, it doesn't mean that g3 is strongest. So it's my feeling of beauty I explaining. So bishop on c5, according to my feeling of chess, it's at least not worse than rook on f8, because he protected pawn a3 and he protected king in case if f4, bishop takes f4, g takes f4, and queen takes f4 in some variation. So g3 was queen against king and knight and king in 1 minute. In 1 minute I also cannot do it because I cannot work with my mouse so fast, but I am not so worried. Yes, so g3 was a good move in rook d3, rook f3. Instead rook f3. It's probably later. Okay. King h1. King h1 is the proposition. King h1. Okay, king h1, it's too slow. Black cannot take on a3. Because bishop c5. But maybe can. So maybe black can take if bishop c5, queen c3, and pawns are there. Okay, king h1 is too slow. Okay, bishop c5 I like, but after queen c7, g3. Okay, now if black plays g5, okay, sorry, I have idea with bishop e3. Attack the pawn and prepare f4. So it's okay, maybe black can defend somehow here, but it's shaky position for black. So I like white after bishop e3, but he took immediately, so probably not the best, I don't know, because now g5, yes, now f4 he played. Okay, he took b4 pawn, but now it's there are a lot of fresh air near white king. This is hardly healthy for him. So knight h5. Okay, here was recommendation rook f3. Okay, maybe rook f3 was more precise. Totally possible that rook f3 was more precise, but it's difficult to understand without deep analyze what is more precise. Anyway, white is better coordinated, that's true. If black has no direct attack, all endgames is terrible for black, so maybe rook f3 was much stronger and white is better here. But who knows? h4, g5, h4 here. Okay, after h4, I think g4, it's a reasonable response. To block. And now Bishop on e5 is very strong, very well defended. So I think Jan Krzysztof played correctly. Probably rook f3, but what is difference if queen e7 here? I'm thinking. So if king h1, queen takes e4 is coming. If rook g1, knight g3 check. So this idea doesn't work. So I will show you in the board. So if this, if rook g1, knight g3 check. So rook g3, bishop takes g3, and white is losing material. If queen g2, just take on c4, and white has no nor mate nor even perpetual check probably. Sorry, rook takes queen g2, queen takes c4, and white need to find. Okay, maybe this is draw, but this, maybe this is draw. Yes, this is draw. What about king g2? King g2 instead of queen g2. King g2 here. Okay, king g2 just bishop e5. No, king g2, bishop e5. Yeah, queen g2 is correct, but it's enough only for draw. So rook f6. Black cannot win white rook with checks. So only what black can do, just take, and this is draw. And then queen takes a5. Draw. So okay, but probably after queen e7, white can do. Radjabov played. Yes, I already explained my thinking about Dean Radjabov. So you missed, but okay. Anyway, it will be published in YouTube channel and in Twitch, so you can see after. So after queen e7, maybe if king f2, queen h4 check is unpleasant. So what else white can do? Maybe something like rook e1. It looks a little bit passive, but rook d8 and rook d2 is coming. So not easy to understand if white can fight for advantage. Link, okay, Ivanchuk chess you can write, and you will find Ivanchuk chess. Bishop f1. Okay, bishop f1 is possible, but black has at least compensation. Bishop e5, and then king h8, rook g8 somewhere. So it's difficult. Maybe white has advantage, but it's not easy to play in this position. But he played queen e7, so positionally he wants to play bishop e5, knight f6, king h8. Rook f2 played Jan Krzysztof, bishop e5, queen e2, knight f6. Black consolidated his pieces, and they are preparing king h8, rook g8. Not allowed. Rook b8. So exchange, it's not so important in this position because white has weak king. Without queens, of course, white would be much better. Why not knight f4? In which position knight f4? In which moment knight f4, sorry. Instead of knight f6. Knight f4, white can just take and play queen g4 check. if queen g5, just take and rook g3, white winning the piece. So king h8 not possible, because after this this is mate. So after queen g4, bishop g5, but h4 is, white is just winning. Again, if black is taking queen c5 and queen takes c4, yeah, okay, maybe, but it's there is clear win. So knight f4 is just tactical mistake, and quite obvious one. Not winning? Sorry, how not win? Ah, king h8. Aha, very nice trick. Thank you, thank you. I missed that if queen g5, rook g8, yes. If ag, queen c5, yes. Very nice trick. Bravo. So I missed this. Bravo, bravo. So knight f4 is not mistake? Aha. But what about queen g4? I'm thinking. I want to think, what is this? Okay, queen g4 I want to check. Because knight g6, rook d7, so king h8 I will take now. And if rook g8, I want probably take on f7 immediately with rook. So this is my idea now. Probably. I'm not sure if I'm right. However, queen c5 check immediately. And king f1, what is this? Queen takes c4. And queen f3 probably. Ah, but rook g3 is coming. And white has not many checks because rook d3. Queen d7. Ah, queen d7 is. Queen d7 is stronger, yes. Because now. But queen d7, black can take on e4. And a lot of threats. So, okay, rook f4, rook g8. If I take immediately, ah, also I can take with bishop. Can I take here? Sorry, it looks like I can, but I'm not totally. So rook g4, rook g4. And black cannot take bishop because rook d8 mate, so I have mating threats. But queen c5 check probably is possible. But what is this? King f1. It's a question for me if I am grandmaster. Okay, so queen g4 check. King h8. Knight g6 is bad because rook d7 somehow. So king h8 only move. Rook takes f4. Black can of course play queen c5 immediately. And then just take my bishop. Instead of queen c5, bishop d2. Instead of queen c5, bishop d2, in which moment? Bishop d4 here? No. Bishop d4, it's not possible. You mean here bishop d4? No, bishop d4 not possible. Okay, so king h8, rook takes f4, rook g8, bishop takes f7. But instead of rook g8, queen c5 probably. It's the best. And what is this? Queen c5, black is ready to take my bishop. Probably black is okay here. Oh, so knight f4 is not mistake. Sorry. Interesting, but yes, maybe it's possible. So queen g4, king h8, rook f4, queen c5 check. This is the point. Okay, so he played knight f4. Okay, knight f4 probably was draw. Probably he considered. Probably it's not sure he missed this. Probably he calculated, for example, till this position and realized that this is draw. Now this is here black is better maybe even. Maybe black is even better here. Difficult to believe also that black can be better here. For example, if white plays even rook d7, white black is better here. White has active pieces. If somewhere exchange queens, it would be draw. Yes, rook d7. Maybe this is just a drawish line. For example, queen c5, king g2. Queen takes c4, queen g5, draw. Okay, maybe not queen takes c4, maybe black has something else, but if black can play for win, I'm not sure. h8, and if bishop takes f7, but white has, okay, if bishop takes f7, there are several checks, or even rook b8 is possible to consider to prepare rook b2. So yes, maybe knight f4 was promising line, but it's necessary to calculate very well. So knight f4. Yes, I don't see any refutation. So probably knight f4 was strong move, not bad one. He played knight f6. King h1, king h8, rook g2, rook g8. Black has sufficient compensation because, yes, I played against Spassky just one game. I was black, I played Volga Gambit in Linares 1990. Was draw. Only one game I played. So bishop on e5 is very strong. Not walls and rook. Rook g1. Draw. So this was the most interesting game from today. Duda against Firouzja. Okay, so it's almost 11 p.m. in Ukraine. I want to sleep. Faisal blindfolded, yes, many times. Impression of today rounds. Okay, this game very, very interesting. But to do even begin, please. You mean United Kingdom or you mean UK? See my name in my flat. One day now. About Nakamura, sorry, he didn't play aggressive. He just against he lost. Okay, it was a brilliant victory. Gave us several points. Ali Revenge, he did so successfully. Also, it was bad option those games both. So, but okay, he is very promising player, very talented, and he need just finish this tournament in against Duda. He demonstrated very good level. Maybe lies, but Bishop takes F8. I feel not aesthetic play. About Olympiad, nothing is clear, so more likely I will not. Yes, of course, he is young and he loves chess. So. Okay, so at the moment I want to sleep and wish you a nice July month. Today started 1st of July. Candidates again, I need to qualify it. Yes, when next week? Okay, we'll see. Okay, bye. Добраніч. Дякую за увагу. Thanks for subscription and thanks for your attention.